Hi, everyone. SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, June 2nd. We are looking at the opening lines for tomorrow's card in Major League Baseball, Friday, June 3rd, with SBR contributor Ian Cameron. Ian Cameron, the first line I have to ask you about is the Mets game, right, with Syndergaard going against Kohler. And Syndergaard, of course, coming off of that start where he was ejected early. Then he made a relief appearance. But, he had his last start cut short. And here he is, obviously a big favorite at Miami. Kohler, as we know, having control issues. He's actually turning into one of those pitchers who gives up a lot of walks but has so far avoided getting burned by it. So you're wondering in the future, are his walks going to go down, or is it going to eventually catch up with him and he will get burned by it? Either which way, though, I think we know that the struggles Miami's lineup is having. I think that we can, it's a pretty safe bet to assume that Syndergaard's going to be close to lights out, if not fully lights out once again. And if that's the case, even if Kohler's okay, probably the Mets have value even as a big road favorite, and especially on the first 5 innings line. Right now it opened at about minus 155, 160 market wide. What do you think about the Mets tomorrow, Ian?
You know what? Obviously, I can't go against Noah Syndergaard. There's no question about that. I mean, it has been absolutely tremendous, unmitigated brilliance, really, from Noah Syndergaard in his last 3 starts. What more can you say? I mean, 1 run allowed in his last 3 starts, and it was an unearned run. That he allowed in his last 3 starts against Washington, Milwaukee, and the Dodgers combined. No walks, 24 strikeouts over those last 3 starts. Simply amazing stuff from Noah Syndergaard. I will throw up one bit of caution with Syndergaard in this game. His last outing against the Dodgers, he only went 2.1 innings. He got thrown out for perceived to be throwing the ball intentionally at Chase Utley in that game. Remember what happened in the playoffs last year with that dirty slide that the Mets weren't very happy about that took out Ruben Tejada, and that's why he hasn't played a game yet this year. Umpire obviously thought Syndergaard was trying to get retribution, tossed him from the game, only pitched 2.1 innings. Just that throw his rhythm off a little bit here, and it's worth noting he actually did throw an inning out of the bullpen earlier this week against the White Sox. So that normal starting pitch every 5-day routine that a lot of these starters that are sticklers for the routine and not having that routine shaken up in any form, a little bit concerned that maybe he's not quite as sharp because of that, because his routine's been altered a little bit over the course of the last few days. That being said, I'm not willing to bet against it happening, that's for sure, especially with how good he's been and just how incredible, really, he's been in his last 3 starts. On the flip side, Tom Kohler, not a huge believer of this guy, Pete. He's got a 4.50 ERA, mediocre numbers, okay numbers, not spectacular, not horrible, but not spectacular either. He struggled to pitch at Marlins Park, a 4.35 ERA this year in 4 home starts. Miami just 1-3. In Tom Kohler's 4 home starts this season. I do have some concerns about the routine scenario for Syndergaard. Not enough concerns, though, to warrant a play on the Marlins, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Syndergaard. I think he's just a proud Aryan warrior, and something like that. There's nothing to him. I think he's going to be good. I think the Mets are going to be worth a bet, at least on the first 5 innings, if not the full game. And then I want to ask about Yu Darvish's second start. We had actually a similar situation in Yu Darvish's first start. He did well in his rehab starts, and I asked if you're ready to go on him in his first start back in the majors. You said no. You're going to have to see him do it for real in the majors. And I actually, in our video, in my picks video with Mike Brenner, wound up going with Darvish, giving that as a pick, taking the Rangers on the first 5 in his first start. And, of course, they did cash. He had a great 5-inning start. And I think we're going to see a similar thing again for him here. Seattle does have a lineup that can be productive and scary at times. But then on the other side, Taijuan Walker's really been getting it. He's given up like 8 or 9 home runs over his last 4 or 5 starts. He is really struggling with the long ball. I see Darvish as right now probably in good form. I don't think he's going to let down in his second start, although that's a possibility. But I think we're going to see another strong 5-inning start from him. And once again, the line, if Darvish is as good as he was in his first start, is very low. It's minus 135, minus 138 market wide on the opener. What do you think about Texas as a small or as a moderate home favorite with Darvish in his second start?
Yeah, I would probably have to look toward the Texas side in this game, more so from the 5-inning line, actually, instead of the full game, just because Texas's bullpen, as they showed in the Cleveland series, a little bit worrisome. I mean, there were a couple of games in that series, had a big lead and really had to hang on at the end. So that Texas bullpen a little bit of a worry, and even more of a worry with Yu Darvish probably not going to pitch deep into this game. They're monitoring his pitch count. They're easing him back in. You're talking about a guy that's been off for over a year and just trying to get his feet wet again. So I don't anticipate this being a situation where Yu Darvish is going to pitch deep. They're going to monitor his pitch count. So in this case here, while I like Yu Darvish here in this matchup, and he was great in his first start. I mean, 1 run on 3 hits in 5 innings against Pittsburgh. 1 walk to 7 strikeouts. I mean, really good numbers for Yu Darvish. That has to be looked at as a positive sign here for Jeff Bannister, the manager, and this Texas team, because Texas playing very good baseball this season, standing at 31-22 right now. This is a big series, obviously, against Seattle. 2 teams battling for first place in the AL West right now. To have Yu Darvish back, lend some support to Cole Hamels, Colby Lewis, guys like that in this Texas rotation. It's very important and big to have another, quality arm when he's on his game. And Yu Darvish certainly showed in his first start back against Pittsburgh. He has the capability of being on his game. He sure was here, and has the chance here to maybe to follow it up with another good outing against Seattle, especially when you look at his track record against Seattle. Since 2012, in 5 straight starts against Seattle, he's held them to 3 runs or less in every single start. So good numbers for Yu Darvish in the past against Seattle. And yeah, Taijuan Walker on the flip side, a guy that's dealing with home run issues right now. He's got electric stuff, but right now his electric stuff is being smacked out of the ballpark. He's given up 6 home runs in his last 3 starts, Baltimore, Oakland, and Minnesota in those outings. So that's a problem here when you're asking to go to Arlington, pitching in Texas against a lineup that's capable of hitting the home run ball in this park. So, yeah, I do have some concerns here for Taijuan Walker, given his recent form. He did pitch well in Texas last year, though. It is worth noting. He gave up 4 runs in 13 innings combined of 2 starts here in Arlington last year. I think the ways I would bet this game, Pete, is I'd look Texas preferably on the first 5-inning line in this game. Maybe also take a shot at this game staying under the total. I think Walker can get back on track here. Does have good numbers in this ballpark. And Yu Darvish certainly gave you no indication that he can't continue to pitch well. That was a very good first start for him against Pittsburgh. So Texas 5-inning line, maybe under the total, 5 innings, and possibly for the game as well, my leans in this game.
All right, now the third game I want to ask you about, I'm not sure what I think about it. That's why I'm going to get your opinion on it. It's the Yankees at Baltimore, Eovaldi against Tillman. Now, Eovaldi, obviously can hit can hit 100 miles an hour on the radar gun, and he has been getting results recently. He usually only gives you about 6 strong innings, but we know that with the Yankees bullpen, if you get 6 strong innings out of your starter, you can easily get another 3 awesome innings out of their bullpen. But the Yankees are really struggling offensively, and they're just not getting it done on the road. They just came off a series where they scored 3 runs total at Toronto, and that's kind of eye-opening. And in general, the Yankees have been overvalued on the road. Baltimore has been undervalued at home. The Yankees have a negative ROI on the road of about 17%. Baltimore has the opposite at home. They have a positive ROI of about 15 or 17% at home, and the line is very low, very competitive. Right now at Pinnacle, it's minus 111. So I think despite how effective Eovaldi often is and how strong the Yankees bullpen is, if they get held to 1 or 2 runs here, probably Baltimore will have value at this line at just minus 111. If it was minus 140 or so, I wouldn't be interested. But at minus 111, I got to admit, it's got me thinking. What do you think, Ian Cameron?
I'm knocking on the door of the New York Yankees hitters, and nobody's answering. Hello?
Oh,
hello?
that was some nice
Anybody?
Ian Cameron.
A-Rod? Hello? And A-Rod? Hello? Beltran? Hello? Nobody's answering me. I mean, this Yankee lineup
Hello?
against Toronto
Come in.
earlier this week. This Yankee lineup earlier this week, Peter, just awful in Toronto. I mean, it's a problem. It's just an ongoing issue with this team's ability to score runs right now, and it continues just to be a dreadful time of it for the New York Yankees to score runs. Just a dreadful showing against Toronto at the plate, just shut down by Aaron Sanchez, shut down throughout that series. And it really worries me here against Baltimore and against Chris Tillman, a guy that I've talked about in the past, Pete, in previous videos, pitching at a rock-solid level. For this Orioles team. We cashed a winning bet with Chris Tillman in his last start for Baltimore on Sunday. against Cleveland. He's just been fantastic. 2.92 ERA this season, 2.04 ERA and 7 home starts in Baltimore. The Orioles have gone 7-0 in his 7 starts at home. And let's give Chris Tillman credit. This is a guy that got crushed last year repeatedly. He went into the offseason as a professional pitcher should and said, this is not good enough. I have to make some adjustments in my mechanics. I've got to tweak some things in my delivery. I've got to come out here and do a better job for a Baltimore team that's put some trust in me that I could be an ace caliber pitcher on this team. Give him credit. He put in the work, put in the time in the offseason to refine his mechanics, and the results are clearly there in the results for Chris Tillman so far. Just look at his swinging strike rate, Peter. It was 7.1%. Last year. Not great by any stretch. His swinging strike rate, it's gone all the way up to 10% this season. That is a dramatic rise from one season to the next. So he's making better pitches. He's pitching to both sides of the plate. He's trying to mix things up now. And as a result, he's keeping hitters off balance. He's inducing a lot more swings and misses. So give Tillman credit for making the adjustment, making the commitment more than anything to say, I want to become a better pitcher, change my delivery, change my philosophy a little bit, and it's clearly paid dividends so far here in 2016 for the Baltimore Orioles. And even better news for Tillman is that he's dominated the Yankees in 7 career starts here at Camden Yards. He's allowed 3 runs or less in every single outing, so that's bad news for the Yankees. Held to 2 runs or less in 4 straight games, 5 runs in their last 4 games combined. That's pathetic. Offensive production non-existent from the Yankees. However, as much as I want to bet on Tillman, Pete, I think Nathan Eovaldi is showing signs of being a bet-on hurler right now, too. I mean, Eovaldi's been able to throw hard, hit the high 90s in miles per hour on the radar gun. That has never, ever been an issue for him. But he's finally harnessing things a little bit. He's negating the big contact. He's coming off 3 straight dominant outings, allowing 2 runs in his last 18 innings of work over his last 3 starts against Arizona, Toronto, and Tampa. Yankees have won each of his last 5 starts. So Eovaldi is actually one of the guys the Yankees are winning for consistently, despite their offensive woes. You know, he shut down the Orioles in the past as well, allowing 7 runs in 16.1 innings of work and 3 starts against Baltimore in his career. And then you look at the trends here, pointing toward the under, and I agree with them fully. Under 4-1 in Eovaldi's last 5 road starts, 6-1 under in Tillman's 7 home starts this year. The Yankees as a team are 6-1 to the under in their last 7 games with their current offensive slump. It makes me think this game can stay under the total. I'm a little bit surprised it opened as high as 8. I'd look to play this one under here at Camden Yards.
All right, Ian. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up for me. Now I'm leaning towards the under more than I am towards Baltimore for sure. All right, we got a full card tomorrow, Friday, June 3rd. What else would you like to bring up?
Brandon Finnegan and the Cincinnati Reds against the Washington Nationals. Battle of Southpaws here, and it's hard to explain what's happened to Gio Gonzalez really in his last 2 starts. Sailing along, having a magnificent season, and the last 2 starts against St. Louis and the Mets, ugly, roughed up for 13 runs on 16 hits in his last 9.2 innings of work. Didn't get out of the 5th inning in either outing, so major concerns all of a sudden for Gio Gonzalez. And the worst thing about this particular start and this matchup at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, he's allowed 5 home runs in his last 3 starts, spanning about 16 innings of work, 5 home runs allowed. That's a problem in Cincinnati, a home run hitting park. So this could be a spot where Gio Gonzalez's struggles may continue here for the Washington Nationals facing the Cincinnati Reds team. However, I don't trust Brandon Finnegan. I don't think he's a guy that can deceive many opposing hitters. This is not a ballpark he's pitched very well in this year in 5 home starts here at Great American. He's got a 5.40 ERA, 16 runs on 31 hits and 26.2 innings of work, 7 home runs allowed in 26 home innings. The long ball's been a huge problem for him in this ballpark. Washington as a team hitting pretty well against lefties. Nationals 268 team batting average, 5.52 runs per game against Southpaws. That's better production as a team for Washington against lefties than righties. I think we can get over the total in this game if Gonzalez continues to struggle with the long ball. It's bouncing around between 8 and 8.5 right now across all the major Vegas and offshore sports books. I'll look to play over the total, Nationals and Reds here on Friday night.
That's what I was thinking about as well. That was actually one of the borderline games that I was going to get your opinion on. I'm glad you brought it up. Ian Cameron, thanks so much. Talk to you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Peter. Enjoy the games and good luck.